Hello everybody, it's Cobblers Vlogs and welcome back to the 2020 season, 2019-2020 season. It's all the same thing, who really cares what it's called? The 2019-20 season, the preview is here. I've got a couple of people helping me out. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get into the preview, starting first of all with the 12 signings that the Cobblers made in the summer. We'll go through them little by little and just talk about each of them. Starting off, we have the goalkeeper, Steve Arnold, coming from Shrewsbury. Not really heard about him before, never really seen him play. People are saying he's good, so I'll take their word for that. That's good enough for me. And hopefully he can keep some clean sheets. He's also bought some goalkeeping competition as well, which is important. Nobody knows at the moment who's going to start out of him and Steve Arnold. In defence, we have got the additions of Reece Hall-Johnson, Joe Martin and Charlie Goode. Are there any more? Scott Wharton, who's come in on loan as well. Joe Bunny's also returned from his loan last year at Rochdale, so that's also like another new signing, really. So Reece Hall-Johnson come from Grimsby. Grimsby fans were fairly split on him. Most of them saying he was quite good, but likes a challenge. Likes putting in a hard tackle, so that could be a good thing. Joe Martin came from Stevenage as well. Their fans, saying good things about him, which is also good to hear. Charlie Goode. Very good. You're seeing it. Yeah, great. So Charlie Goode, another one of the additions in defence. We had him on loan here last season. Started off well, sort of faded out towards the end of the season, but he was good enough for us, and I think he'll be a fantastic captain, which he's been made this season as well. He's been made the team captain as well. Nicky Adams, the club captain. So yeah, 3 good additions at the back: Hall-Johnson, Joe Martin, and Charlie Goode. If we move on to the midfielders, we have the additions of Alan McCormack, Ryan Watson, Nicky Adams, or Nicholas Adams as it says here, Chris Lyons, and also Scott Pollock, who, the youth, Scott Pollock, Morgan Roberts, Jack Newell, Sean Whaler. They're also like new additions as well, being put in the first team this year. But the actual 4 central midfield signings: McCormack, Watson, Adams and Lyons. So first of all, Alan McCormack, Luton's potentially best player of the season last year, they were saying. So that's really good to hear that Luton fans, they're rating him highly in a League One team as well that are in the Championship now. So McCormack will be, does the dirty work. He's going to come in and do that for us. So hopefully another fantastic addition. Only here on a 1-year contract. So this could be his last year in football. You never know. But definitely somebody, the experience that we've needed in central midfield for a long time. We've also got Ryan Watson, who I don't remember him playing for us in the Championship, in the champion season when we won the league. I do recognise the name, but I can't really remember him playing for us, so we'll have to see what he's like. Nicky Adams, do I need to say anything about him? We all know his qualities, everyone knows how good he is, and everyone knows that he's probably going to be our best player this season. And Chris Lyons, another experienced midfielder that we need, and we haven't had for a long time. He's come in from Bristol Rovers. Looking at the forward line then, Harry Smith, Vadian Oliver, I think is how you say it, and Matt Warburton are the 3 additions up front. Harry Smith, classic, 6'5", massive League 2 striker, is going to wind people up. He's going to get sent off at points because he's going to wind people up that much, and that is what he's there to do. It's what he's going to be paid to do. Vadian Oliver's come from Morecambe. Again, another big 6'2" striker, will win your headers, will battle for the ball. Again, what you need in League 2. And then Matt Warburton, a non-league gem, potentially, one that we've given a chance, has come up from the non-league, and hopefully we're going to give him a chance, and hopefully he's going to do well for us. So, with that said, we're now going to get on to our first guest. We have got Charles from the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast, giving his perspective on this year's Cobblers team and how he thinks the Cobblers will get on this season. So, here he is. It's Charles from It's All Cobblers to Me.
Hi Matt, it's Charles from the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast. You've asked me to talk about our beloved Northampton Town Football Club for you and our season expectations. Well, last year wasn't particularly great. Obviously, we sacked yet another manager in Dean Austin and then brought in Keith Curle, who seems to have steadied the ship. At one point, we did look like we might be going for the playoffs. Didn't turn out to be the way, and we ended up 16th in the end. But over the summer, Curle has let a lot of players go. Some of them have been released, like John Joe O'Toole, for example, and David Buchanan, both players that have been long servants at the Cobblers. And good servants as well. They were released at the end of their contracts. And then we had certain players like Ash Taylor, for example, who was allowed to leave and go back to Aberdeen. Unlucky guys. And then there's other players like Aaron Pierre, who was sold not so long ago. He's gone to Shrewsbury, which is a fair enough move for him. Go back to League One. He came and stayed with us in League Two when he didn't necessarily have to. But we've then, therefore, had to go and get in lots and lots of new players, 12 so far, in fact. The best of which is probably Nicky Adams, the assist king. He'll be hoping that his second spell at the Cobblers will be as fruitful as his first, I would imagine, where we won promotion, of course, and the title by 13 points. And yet still we're only the second best team in the league that season. We've also made signings up front. We've got Harry Smith, who's probably the big signing of the summer, other than Nicky Adams. He's coming from Macclesfield for an undisclosed fee. He scored against us at Sixfields last season, so hoping that he'll be able to find the back of the net on a regular occasion for us. I mean, he is huge, so he is definitely a target man. I'm hoping that he'll be able to grab some goals as well. And then you've got the likes of Charlie Good, who's come in from Scunthorpe. He was on loan with us last season as well. That's a great permanent addition, I think, to the side. And Curler's basically signed players that, in his own image, Curl himself said that he needs to get a promotion on his CV. He's been a manager for 18 years now, and he needs to now add that to his CV, otherwise maybe he starts looking a bit like a failure. But the players that he's brought in are in that same mould. They want the ambition of winning a promotion at the very least, hopefully a league title as well. The likes of Matty Warburton from Stockport County. He's got to prove to not only himself but also everybody else that he can make the step up from being part-time and a school teacher to being a full-time professional League Two footballer. That's going to be a difficult step, I would imagine, but he'll be really, really pushing himself to do well in that. So the players that he signed are going to be ambitious, which is a really good thing for us, I think. In terms of what's going to actually happen over the course of the season, it's hard to tell with the Cobblers. We'll probably start off fairly slowly, not necessarily get a win for the first 3 games. I'm hoping I'm wrong with that, but we tend to always start off slowly and draw at least the first game of the season anyway, if not lose it. And so we sort of come into this looking at it going, well, we'll need a good start, but we never get them. We never get a good start. Even under Chris Wilder in our last League Two title winning campaign, we didn't start off particularly brilliantly and set the world alight. We only went top at around about the halfway point of the season. So who knows what will be in store. I think personally we're going to finish just outside the playoffs. But I've spoken to other people, guys in the media, who believe that we should be pushing for the playoffs as a minimum. And to be fair, that's what we should all be aiming for, I think, this season as well. Top 3 might be a little bit out of our reach, but the playoffs is definitely where we should be striving to get, I think. For me, though, we'll probably finish just outside, maybe 9th, let's say, but either on goal difference or by a point or 2. It won't be a million miles away come the end of the season. So, yeah, that's my little bit on the Cobblers. You can listen to our podcast, It's All Cobblers to Me, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, and our website as well, cobblerstome.com. Thanks for having me on, Matt. All the best for the season with your vlogs. See you soon, mate. Bye.
So yeah, thanks a lot to Charles for coming on, talking about that. And as Charles just said, go and check out It's All Cobblers to Me. Fantastic Cobblers podcast. They'll preview every match, they review every match, so it's really well worth listening to. I listen to it on the morning of the match, so it gets me in the mood for the game. So yeah, go and check out It's All Cobblers to Me. I'll leave links to them in descriptions in the description. You can go and check them out on Apple Music, I think, whatever it is, the Apple Podcasts thing, Spotify, the Google, Samsung, whatever the podcasting is. Wherever you listen to podcasts, It's All Cobblers to Me will be there. So go and check those out. Go and give them a listen. Neil, Charles and Danny, 3 great guys, and 3 great guys, 1 fantastic podcast. Okay, so next up, we're going to have a look at how I think the season is going to go for the Cobblers. Okay, so how do I think the season's going to go? Well, in the predictions video, I put us in 6th in the league table. Go and check that out after this if you haven't already. if I'm honest, I think that was being optimistic. A lot of people saying they'll be disappointed if we don't finish in the playoffs, which I'm not surprised with. But I'm just genuinely quite a negative thinking person. I come across as quite bright and cheerful, but when it comes to the Cobblers, I'm negative, like most Cobblers fans. I think we sort of have a reputation for that. We always get our hopes up, and then it's just crushed, really. I think 10th is a realistic prediction. That's what I've been saying, really, to most people. I think 10th is realistic. I think that's where we're probably going to finish this season. So yeah, 10th place is where we're going to go with that. Let's see what fellow Cobblers fan Will thinks. We're going to have a look at, he sent me in a video on what his thoughts are for this season. So Will, it's over to you.
Hi, my name's Will and I'm a Cobblers fan. I think this season we're going to finish, my prediction is we finish third. The realism is the signings we've made, the signings of Nicky Adams, who've got top assist last season in League 2. So realistically, that just says it all, really. Harry Smith, 6'5" striker, we can get the ball on his head, score 15, 20 goals. We can get promotion, but sadly, again, if he scores 15, 20 goals, he's going to end up going and leave Championship, in my opinion. I think even like someone like Reece Hall-Johnson and Joe Martin on fullback, something so simple as that is so fantastic. And McCormack, in my opinion, League 1 quality. Played last season, the half of the end of the season for Luton. So, he's easily a League 1 player. If we can keep him fit, then there you go, that's the way it is. I'd like to see, again, the youngsters play Scott Pollock, Jay Williams, Morgan Roberts. We've seen it at MK Dons at the pre-season game that he's got so much ability, but his confidence is lacking, so we can improve his confidence, then he can get going. Even competition in goal now, Steve Arnold and David Cornell, two fantastic keepers. So it's so high competition there. Like Scott Wharton, on loan from Blackburn, two loans last season, Bury and Lincoln, both getting promotion to League 1, 2 medals for him, both 2 promotions for him. So again, it's such a good place to be in Northampton. We've lost David Buchanan and John Joe, who were club legends, but the club needs to move on. We can't keep holding these club legends. Sadly lost Aaron Pierre, but replacements have been so solid. Charlie Good, we've got Jordan Turnwell, now Scott Wharton coming in. It's a solid back three if we play, or a back two, whatever Keith Cole decides to play. But my prediction's third. Hopefully, we realistically should be getting at least playoffs, in my opinion. However, of course, if we don't, then Keith Cole's contract at the end of the season may not be renewed. So, yeah, thank you.
So yeah, thanks to Will for sending that in as well. Really good insight to how he thinks the Cobblers are going to get on this season. Aspiring sports journalist as well, so good for him to get a bit of experience doing talking about the Cobblers and football in general. But yeah, thanks to both of today's guests. Thanks to Charles and thanks to Will. Obviously, go and check out the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast. Like I said, drop a like on this video if you're excited for the 2019-20 season. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye bye.